Right, firstly, a quick apology. It's been 2 weeks since I updated a video, and I'm really sorry about that. But we've had some bad weather. I've been feeling under the weather. I've also been quite busy, and I haven't had a chance to get out. I did get out last week while I was busy in the East Midlands. Is that where Derby is? East Midlands? I think it is, yeah. And I had a bit of time to kill during my sort of lunch break between some meetings, and I took a bit of a photo walk where I used this lens on my... My favourite camera, I'm going to say today, is my Lumix GX1, and I took some photos with this. So I mentioned this in a previous video. This is the Retropia cookie lens or Oreo lens. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole debate that's going around at the moment that these guys are just perhaps drop shipping from AliExpress or something. Make that decision up for yourself, but basically you can buy this for half, if not a third or a quarter of what I paid for it. I fell for the social media marketing, and I figured for 30 quid, what was I risking? Well, not a lot really, but just note, shop around. I'll put a link where I got it from below, and maybe some other places, but it's certainly worth taking a punt on something like this if you want the too long didn't watch version of this video. For between 10 and 30 quid, definitely recommend giving one a try. What is it? As I've said, it's a disposable camera lens mounted in a bit of plastic that effectively means it's a body cap with a lens built into it. Fixed aperture, fixed focal length, and in that instance here, this is a 25mm-ish equivalent focal length on my Micro Four Thirds body, so that's like 50mm in real world terms. The aperture is quoted at around f10. Again, I got no way of specifically measuring that, but I think that's about fair because everything is in focus, so to speak. Is everything after about a meter and a half, because it doesn't like anything sort of close up. And I don't know why that is. Maybe that's because of the way that lenses work or the amount of light that needs to get in. I don't know. Perhaps someone more scientific and knowledgeable can explain it. But you don't want to be taking up close-up photos and trying to get macro shots of plants in your garden or something. I tried. It doesn't work. What else are we going to say before we look at some photos? Yeah, it weighs like 10 grams, 25mm, f10. Yeah, so you've got fixed focal length, fixed aperture, and you then have to control your ISO, exposure, and your shutter speed on your camera. So this obviously mounts just like other pancake lenses. I've got a few of these kind of things. These are a little bit more expensive. I really like these kind of stuff because it means that you can carry so many lenses in your pocket. You're sacrificing something with that kind of technology, but I quite like it. Anyway, yes, mounted onto my GX1, really like it. Nice and slim, makes this into a nice pocketable camera. Let's not call it a Ricoh GR3 equivalent like everybody else likes to when they put these kind of lenses on. But anyway, nice pocketable, slim camera. And what I like about this, I'm not going to go into any other technicalities, is I use the intelligent auto button, and that basically takes care of all the settings. So let's have a look at some photos. I had a wander around Derby. I didn't think I was capturing anything very special. I'm just showing you all the pictures that I got at the moment, and I will show you some edited ones towards the end. I wasn't very impressed. Everything's very soft, and if you zoom in, you can see a lot of distortion around the edges. I think, I'm no expert, but chromatic aberration feels like the right term to use. It basically means that you've got lots of, like, rather than a nice clean edge, you've got lots of other colourful artifacts around the edges of objects, and yeah, you shouldn't be pixel peeping. But for these kind of lenses, I think you're taking photos to post on social media more than anything else, rather than blowing them up into big fine art prints or anything. So I'm not too worried about that. There is a soft blur to everything, which does make them look a bit odd. And I'm not sure that that is the effect that you get from point and shoot cameras. I haven't used an old, disposable camera for a long time. I might try one actually and compare them at some point. Who knows? But And maybe that'd be a great challenge, actually, just taking out a disposable camera for the day and taking photos. Digressing. Yeah, the images are quite soft. There's like a glow and a bloom, I think is the word. I heard another word called halation. I don't really know what those words mean, but it just means that you can see like a softish kind of blur and reflection of color around some of the objects. And especially if you look at something where you've got like a dominant color in it, it does seem to reflect back and as if it's yeah, it just seems to reflect back. So I wasn't initially very impressed with the photos, and my one piece of advice is if you're going to go somewhere to take pictures with this camera, with this lens, sorry, and you maybe are somewhere where you may not go again for a long time, or the conditions are perfect and you want to make sure you capture something else, don't just rely on this lens, because obviously all these retro vibes and artifacts that you get in the results is nothing that you can actually edit back out unless you're I guess an absolute professional at Photoshop, but I'm not sure that you can remove all of these things and totally fix everything in post. You're better off just putting a proper lens on to get your decent photos. Anyway, let's just have a look at some that I edited. I posted a few of these up onto Instagram. And I found some presets in Lightroom. I've got a few that I like to use as starting points. I downloaded some free ones from James Popsis a few years back, and I use those every now and again, and I've kind of got used to the colour and the feel of those. But occasionally I just hit the recommended ones that come up on Lightroom and go through some of those and try and find something. So I found one that kind of worked. I thought the images were quite dark, so I just kind of like boosted the exposure, just the brightness a little bit on them, and then I thought I ended up with some quite decent results. And what went from a moment of, oh, I didn't really like these images, actually turned into something where I was really quite pleased with them. And it's still all about capturing the right frame, you know, what a lens can't do, no matter if it's £10,000 or if it's £10, what that lens can't do is frame the picture for you, and that's the most important thing here. And ultimately, that's the most important thing that you're going to get. Some of the best photos ever taken, that are considered the best photos ever taken, are not pin sharp and they're not in focus. They're just capturing a moment, and that's really what you need to try and focus to do. And I think that's perhaps what this lens encourages you to do, is rather than go and get that pin sharp focus and those shallow depths of field or something that you might like, this just allows you to capture a moment in time and just capture what was happening, the movement, the light perhaps at the time, and not the details. I'm not saying those details aren't important, I'm just saying that sometimes it's not what you want. I'm waffling now, but then if you've been on this channel before, you know that I like to waffle. Anyway, I will put links below to where I bought this lens from, although I am asking for my money back because I'm just trying it on, quite frankly, because I paid £30 for it. I can go and buy 3 from AliExpress for that price. So we'll see how that goes. I'll put links below, and if you've got any further questions, let me know. Am I going to use it again? Yes, I will. I'll be taking it out when I take out my other lenses, but mainly because things like these little lenses and this little one, they just fit in your pocket without any issue at all, really. So, right, I'm going to go now. Oh, just one other thing. I've been watching The Street Thief. If you're into street photography, which I am, I would totally recommend Gary Lashmar and the Street Thief YouTube channel. I've just bought his little zine, which is really interesting. There's some great images on here, some really inspirational stuff. It's just, I believe it's like a series of blog posts and like journal entries that he put into a zine. Yeah, if you want to get inspired to do some street photography, go and watch some of the Street Thief. Well, go and watch the Street Thief channel, and maybe go and pick up his book. No affiliation or anything, just a bit of a fan. So yeah, we're rocking on for nearly 10 minutes now. I better shut up. I'll see you in another video real soon.